find it interesting on the day that the governor came into a town to announce a wonderful 250 jobs new project, over $250 million of new spending with regards to the AMRI project, that as the legislature began session today, a storm literally rolled in from over the horizon. Coincidence perhaps, but as you know, the legislature has voted by a 6-5 vote to approve the 2013 Erie County budget with a set of amendments as proposed by legislators Mills, Dixon, Hardwick, Marigo, Rath, and Logren, that we've truthfully talked about a lot this week. First, I want to thank the 5 legislators who stood up for a fair, responsible, and balanced budget and were willing to make the difficult decisions necessary for the good of our community. Thank you to legislators Grant, Hogues, Marinelli, Mazer, and McCracken. They did the right thing. Although I have earnestly kept the lines of communication open throughout this entire process, in hopes of reaching a compromise that ensures the fiscal stability of the county and protects the programs and services demanded by the public, no compromise could be reached. In fact, earlier this afternoon, I proposed a package to legislator Hardwick that would meet them halfway. It cut the proposed property tax tax in half to about $4,009,000 per thousand, along with a set of difficult and real cuts in discretionary spending for the rest of the year. These are real cuts, not fake ones. I was told that it doesn't work on their end, it doesn't go far enough, which unfortunately is not the definition of a compromise. Compromise are individuals coming together, not one just demanding their own. So here we are. And all the people spoke when they elected me as their county executive. Their voices have been muted by this legislature. And while the legislature has a role in the process, and I will not call the names like my predecessors might have, all I can say is that I'm very disappointed in their actions. I am disappointed that a majority did not agree that after closing more than $20 million of a $33 million shortfall, with targeted cuts across the board of all county government, and a responsible use of fund balance in order to maintain the quality of life programs that we want and demand here, we needed to propose a small property tax increase to find that last $8 million. I am disappointed that it was clear they would not accept any property tax increase, no matter what. Instead of proposing real cuts in spending to offset the loss of revenue, they instead chose gimmicks that look good on paper but do nothing to reduce our obligated costs, not a single dollar. Throughout this process, no matter how many times they said it, their math simply does not add up. And the refusal to present a single piece of data to support their claims shows me they knew it just as well. Folks, it sounds eerily familiar to what we just witnessed over the last year. It all comes down to arithmetic, and their numbers don't add up. I can't accept the fact that we have different opinions on the subject matter and how we should spend our finite resources. But I cannot accept a difference in facts on what we have to pay and what they say we don't have to pay. Instead of doing what is right, though difficult, they chose to do what was easy and wrong. They chose to adopt a budget that is not balanced from day one, in a 4-year plan that isn't balanced today for 2013 or the future. Throughout this process, many folks have been fixated on whether or not there's going to be a property tax increase, or whether this number is really what we need. But what I say to each and yourselves, what have we truthfully accomplished with the passage of this budget? That's frankly what I'm most disappointed about in the end. I'm disappointed that instead of passing a budget that builds upon the many great successes that we've seen in the last year, we now have a budget that takes us a step backwards towards the fiscal crises of the past. Instead of moving forward on the many exciting economic development announcements that we've been talking about in this community for some time, including the development announcement that was at the convention center today, and many of these things that are starting to come to fruition, we will be forced to shift that focus on correcting the structural issues within this budget in the 4-year plan in an attempt to stave off a hard control board. This was entirely avoidable. All it would have taken is one more legislator to stand up and show the type of leadership that this community deserves from them. In the coming weeks and days, I will do everything in my power to ensure that this budget is balanced, and so as well as the corresponding 4-year plan. First, I will veto every single dollar of additional spending added. Additional spending that we have no new revenues to pay for. Then I will begin combing through every line of discretionary spending to find the real cuts in discretionary spending the legislature was unwilling to make on their own. And although they wouldn't stand up and do what was right today, I hope that as I take these and other corrective measures in the future to fix the issues that those 6 members created, to fix the problem and actually balance the budget, they will then do the right thing in the end. By their hand, decisions in Erie County government have become more difficult today, tomorrow, and every day in the foreseeable future. And it's very disappointing that that happened. I haven't backed down from a challenge in the past or making hard decisions, and I'm not going to start backing down now. Thank you for being here. I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
They could just override your veto.